Nancy Pelosi has been the top Democrat in the House since 2003, but now a challenge for that spot. The Democrats had hoped to gain 20 or more seats in the House, but they only got 6. A few races are still being decided. So, is it time for new Democratic leadership? Our next guest thinks so. Let's bring in Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan. He is challenging Nancy Pelosi. Congressman, thanks so much for being here in studio. How did you make a decision like this? How did you decide to throw your hat in the ring?
Well, I never had any ambitions to run for House leadership, but I think after Tuesday and what happened on Tuesday and what happened in 2014 and going back to 2010, since I've been in the House, I've been in the House since 2003, we keep losing, you know, and we need to start winning races so that we can get in a position to implement our agenda. You know, winners win. And we're not winning right now, and we've got to start winning races. And I'm very frustrated with where we are, and I believe where I come from and who I am would allow me to connect with voters all around the country to pull them back into the Democratic fold. A lot of the old Trump voters. Because
you're from Youngstown, Ohio, so you have your finger on the pulse, you think, of working class voters more than other Democrats?
I believe so. I mean, there are a lot of Democrats that have their finger on the pulse. I believe I'm one of them. You know, I grew up just outside of Youngstown. My grandfather was a steel worker. My wife comes from a small little steel town not far from where I grew up. Her dad worked in a steel mill. My buddies work in construction, and they work in factories, my whole family. So this is like in our bones. And so we kind of knew what was happening over the last few years.
You did? I mean, did you see this happening? Were you somebody who saw Donald Trump winning?
Well, you know, you get in a campaign and you get hopeful and you're pushing out a certain message, but there was a disconnect, and we were feeling it on the ground, and you know, we need to do something about it, because at the end of the day, I think the American people are going to be the ones to suffer. And what I tell Democrats is, look, we just elected Donald Trump president of the United States. We're doing something terribly wrong. And I think we need to move in another direction, and I'm offering myself up to our caucus to say, hey, let's try to do something different.
So what did Nancy Pelosi do wrong?
Well, you know, I don't want to get into all that.
I mean, I know you don't want to engage in finger pointing, but it's clearly you've thought about this. You think something went wrong. What has leadership, if you don't want to say Nancy Pelosi, done wrong?
Well, we're losing. I mean, that's the big story, and I think part of it is our message isn't connecting with working class folks. Black folks, brown folks, white folks, gay, straight, rich, poor, black, white. You know, we got to have a message that connects with everybody. And sometimes as Democrats, we try to slice that pie up, like this interest group, that interest group. Look, we're Americans. We can come together around an economic message that provides opportunity for everybody, and that message resonates with people.
But why weren't you speaking to working class voters as a party?
That's a good question. I mean, there were a lot of us really focused on that, and we were talking about a lot of other issues that don't resonate with people. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump came in with that economic message, and that's why he's president right now.
So you think Nancy Pelosi was focused on issues that don't resonate with people?
Well, I think, yeah, we were not focused on economics. We were focused on other issues, and that message clearly wasn't penetrating. And you could say, well, it was a presidential election, so I don't want to hang this around Nancy Pelosi's neck. I love her. She's great. She's a mentor. She was amazing as speaker when she was in. But we've got to ask ourselves, who can get us back into the majority? And right now we need to win 30 or 40 seats in different parts of the country, Michigan, Wisconsin, but down south. When I first got in, we had 2 or 3 more seats in Indiana. We had more seats in Louisiana, Tennessee. Those seats are all gone. We've got to go back there. Look, Donald Trump's going to cut taxes for the wealthy, and Paul Ryan, cut taxes for the wealthiest people. They're going to privatize Medicare, and they're going to throw people off their health insurance. We need a leader that can go into these districts in the southern part of our country, out west, and say, hey, we're here for you. What he's doing is what we told you he would do. Let's go, vote Democrat, let's win this thing and get the country back to where it should be.
Are you a long shot?
Yeah, I mean, I think from now I am, today, but we got 2 weeks, and I'm telling you right now that there are a lot of people in our caucus that want change, and they want to move the caucus in another direction, and why I think I'm going to win this thing and get very, very close or win it is because our caucus knows we need to go in another direction. And it's not just about us in the House of Representatives. There's no one at the DNC. The Obamas are leaving, the Clintons are gone, the Bidens are gone, Harry Reid's gone. 200 people in the House of Representatives are going to decide what direction we go in as Democrats.
Well, I mean, you raise a good point. Tim Kaine said yesterday that he has no interest in running for president or vice president in 2020 next time around. Who is the new Democratic leader?
God, don't make me. I have no idea. I mean,
who do you think the leaders are? If you can't narrow it down to one, who are you looking at?
I think of guys like Cory Booker, who I love, Sherrod Brown, who's a good friend of mine in Ohio, is an amazing senator. And clearly Elizabeth Warren, you know, is a great senator. So I think those are kind of the, you know, the party people. But we got to get new people into the Democratic Party. People talk about us not having a bench. And part of the problem is there's a concentration in the House of Representatives. You should see the talent we have in the House of Representatives. Young people, I think guys like Hakeem Jeffries and Kathleen Rice. I mean, there's so many talented people just here in New York, but across the country that really, quite frankly, if they don't start moving up, they're going to go do something else.
So last, what is your message today to Democrats? I mean, what is your vision for the future for the Democratic Party?
What is America 2.0? What's it look like? You know, I believe it's multicultural, it's progressive, and it's innovative. And what is the Democratic Party 2.0 that can help us get to America 2.0? We've lost aspiration, I think, in the country. You know, it's about so negative. It's about, you know, I'm not like this and I'm not like that. Where are the hopes and dreams? Where's the juice of politics? You know, what are campaigns all about? It's not about hate and fear. It's about how are we going to, with this beautiful tapestry of America, how are we going to recreate ourselves? And the Democrats should be front and center in leading that, because as much as there was a tragedy for a lot of us on Tuesday, within those tragedies is always opportunity. And I think great leaders and great institutions take advantage of those bad things that happen and you know, make lemonade out of lemons.
There you go. Congressman Ryan, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for